If you're a man who desires peace from a woman, I want you to start thinking about it this way. It's less about the woman that you search for and more about the women that you say no to. This is because it's not a woman's job to bring you peace, it's your job to create your own peace and then protect it. So saying no doesn't mean not giving a woman what she wants. It means saying no to the woman whose wants, needs, and desires don't align with your own.
Ooh, yeah. I'm gonna have to go ahead and sort of disagree with you there.
Well, there's a problem with that statement, woman. If it's not a woman's job to give a man peace, then it's not a man's job to provide. Now, you're assuming that these men haven't found any form of peace, but here's the thing. We have found it. We can provide it for ourselves, and we protect that peace by not giving broads like you the time of day. You refuse to accept that women need us a hell of a lot more than we need them. So if we do decide to let you into our lives, you better be ready to make our lives easier by not only keeping our peace, but providing us with even more. We're not about to let some used up broad enter our lives, ruin our peace, and turn everything into shambles. We have no problem telling chicks like that no, because we know our value. We know our worth. And if you're not willing to meet those bare minimums, then you can go back to the gutter where you belong, sweet cheeks, because frankly, darling, we have zero use for you.
Thank you for your cooperation. Good night.
My therapist said this to me recently and it blew my mind. She said that if you're going through a breakup or you have with someone who is an avoidant attachment and it seems like they're completely fine, completely unfazed, they have no problem staying in contact and just being super casual. And if they are an avoidant attachment, then they'll always be okay in that state because for them, their natural state is compartmentalizing to the point of just avoiding all of those hard feelings.
You're not just wrong, you're stupid. Now wait just a minute. And you're ugly, just like your mum.
I don't see how that man can be avoiding those hard feelings when he's made it clear that he's only interested in keeping things casual and you're fine with gambling with the 12 billion to 1 odds that he'll change his mind. If you leave him and he doesn't care, it's not because of whatever attachment style you invent, it's because you never meant that much to him in the first place. You invested way too much time and emotion into a guy who wasn't feeling it and was just in it for the low effort fun times. But your therapist can't be honest and tell you that you have terrible taste in men. They have a summer home they need you to pay off. So they'll feed you whatever line you want to hear to validate your own feelings so you can justify blaming the planet for making irresponsible decisions with your life.
And so if you feel like, what's wrong with me? Why am I feeling all of these hard things? And they seem to just be completely normal. This is often the case. And she said they will literally always be unfazed.
Hey. Wake up, sister. You are refusing to accept the obvious by thinking you control access to relationships because you choose who gets to sleep with you. But what you don't realize is if you let a man sleep with you, he's under no obligation to wife you up. He's under no obligation to date you, and he's not under any obligation to even respect you. Modern women love to think that if a man falls into a reeking trap of festering sadness, that he's going to eventually fall head over heels for her and refuses to accept otherwise. And the ironic thing is that a self-respecting man's weakness isn't in the bedroom. Sure, that doesn't hurt, but if you make an awesome chicken Alfredo, bring your A game in the hug and back rub department, and can come up with some awesome and fun team combos in Marvel vs. Capcom 2, then most men's hearts will melt for you. But if all you have to offer is dirty fun, well, that's all well and good. Just don't be surprised when he kicks you back into the dirty gutter where he found you.
Oh, you're right. And when you're right, you're right. And you're always right.
He breaks up with you because he told you he doesn't want a relationship anymore. Then you find out that he just got into a relationship with another girl. Maybe it's even a girl that he told you you'll never have to worry about. You call him up, you curse him out, tell him how much of a piece of shit he is. It's like he's just laughing on the phone. He doesn't even care how hurt you are. So you call his new girlfriend and you tell her what he did to you. You're hoping that she's gonna have your back. Instead, she goes and calls her boyfriend. And she says, hey, your ex-girlfriend keeps calling me. Just tells her that you're crazy, to ignore you. So instead of believing you, she believes him. Just when you were hoping to be heard, you get denied again. Now you're really broken.
I don't care. I don't care. Why is this an issue?
I'm just trying to facilitate.
I don't care.
You're going second.
I don't care. I don't care.
Okay.
I don't care. I don't care. I don't care.
You're going second.
When I hear stories like this, I can't help but reflect on the time-old saying, All's fair in love and war, unless the guy you're banging found someone better and broke things off with you to be with her. Naturally, you curse him out in a rant, which I can only assume was fueled primarily by boxed wine and an abundant lack of self-esteem, and then you track down this dude's new girl, somehow obtain her phone number, and call her in hopes that the Steel Magnolia Yaya Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants would somehow have your back. But you forget that the sisterhood will only have your back when it's beneficial to them. But when it's not, well, let's just say you better make sure your house is rid of scissors, bleach, and lighter fluid. Well, you seem to be one of the lucky ones. This new girl is emotionally mature enough to, instead of setting your uselessly overpriced knickknacks on fire, is just gonna report you to her ex-boyfriend. I gotta admit, it's an oddly specific saying, but oddly fitting as well.
Then you get to a point where you realize there's nothing more I can do. You cry to your friends and you hurt. You're hurting. They're in this beautiful relationship. A year goes by. They're still together. They look happy on social media. But every day that they're fighting, that girl's crying. In the back of her head thinking about what you said. At this point, now he's her problem. Eventually they break up. The breakup that you were hoping for months ago has finally happened, but now you don't care. She never gives you the satisfaction to tell you that you were right. She doesn't need to because you know she knew. And he calls you randomly a year later and apologizes. Now you're laughing on the phone, just like he was. Because what goes around comes around.
What?
So here's a funny story for you. One day I was so bored I ended up finding myself watching about 6 hours worth of Steven Seagal movie reviews. I couldn't help it. I just sat there enamored with this library of schlock made by a man who fights while sitting down and uses his stunt double to climb up and down flights of stairs. I'm just watching every single one of these reviews, just dozens of them, with almost the same plot, with interchangeable titles, and in every single one, Seagal shoots a 1911 in a way that I can only describe as impossibly irresponsible. I'm just sitting there, amazed at what a man can do with a precise balance of pure laziness and a front for what I can only assume is for laundering money. And yes, I did spend an entire day watching these movie reviews, but I can at least take comfort in the knowledge that my life is still chock full of more meaning and purpose than this broad right here. Sister, you really need to reevaluate your life because you're not nearly as fascinating as Sniper Special Ops, which is the greatest movie to ever feature Seagal and Rob Van Dam, and that is saying something.
Are you really as good as they all say you are?
Every once in a while.
When I turned 18, I had 4 grown men in their 40s and 50s aggressively pursuing me for dates at my workplace. They had actually been waiting around for me since I was 17, though. I had been working at an auction house that dealt with antiques and estates, and they would hold live auctions once a week. There were, many antiques dealers and collectors that were regulars. There were also fellow auctioneers that would come and kind of do guest appearances. So these 4 men, 2 of them were guest auctioneers and 2 of them were dealers and collectors. And they would come in every week and they would flirt very heavily and publicly with me when I was 17.
Smelly fish.
And it's not a cod.
Oh, hey, Gertrude. Looks like someone's trying to gain some sympathy points for her god-awful advice channel, huh? Well, that's too bad. You're not going to receive any here. Now, it may be annoying when the people you don't find physically attractive flirt with you. I will give you that. But, Gertie, there's a difference between being annoying and being inappropriate. Now, it seems to me like these guys knew the difference between right and wrong, and they weren't crossing the line with you. How do I know this? Because you spent the beginning of your rant describing your job and your workplace more than the men who were flirting with you. And you don't do that if the focus of your story is being physically harassed or stalked by these men. You'd think that'd be a little bit more important than their evil little hobbies, but then again, if you didn't have that meaningless filler, your sympathy video would be about 15 seconds long and just as meaningless.
It was a running joke amongst the all-female office staff. And a few days before my 18th birthday, one of these guys had come by for an auction, and my office manager, female, was joking around with him that I'll finally be 18 and legal. And this guy was asking what specific day was my birthday and when do I get off of work. And I didn't think a single thing about it for a minute. I thought it was just a joke. But when I came into work the day following my birthday, the entire office staff was in stitches.
What's that, shit? It's a shit smell. Is that you?
Smells like papa.
Oh, Gertrude, you're not only terrible at giving out dating advice to divorced single women, you're also a god-awful liar. And you don't need to be Sherlock Tyromes to point that out. When the office staff gave out your personal information to this individual, you said it yourself. You didn't think much of it. So I'm calling it. This situation didn't make you nearly as uncomfortable as you claim. If it did, you would be furious with the staff for giving out your personal information. You would be terrified for your life. You would have quit on the spot at least, or shown some kind of an emotional reaction, not just brush it off as nothing. And personally, I'm shocked. You've been on this earth long enough to know how to lie. But let me ask you this, Gertrude. Let's say that the roles were reversed, and you were the ones flirting with these rich men and reminding them that your 18th birthday was just around the corner. Would that be any different? Would that make you the creepy predator? Wait, what's that? It's totally different when you do it. Yeah, that's true. If you were flirting with them, that means those old men have better taste in women and know better than to get with a gold digger.
Come to find out, dude had come flying into the office on the day of my birthday, just a couple minutes after quitting time. He must have just missed me. And he seriously thought he would finally get to take me out on that date on my 18th birthday. And this man was in his mid-50s. In the next few weeks, the other 3 men would ask me out too. It's not all men, but the ones that it is, well, I'll let you fill in that blank.
It's a fake.
Gertrude, you caked up old maid. Are you giving me a chance to play spousal Mad Libs? Oh, you shouldn't have. How did you know that was my 12th favorite game? So I get to fill in the blank to this statement. It's not all men, but the ones who are. Oh man, I can't decide. There's so many ways to fill in that blank. Oh, let me think, Gertrude. Oh, I know. It's not all men, but the ones who are. Wait until you are of legal age of consent to either agree or decline to go out on a date with them, only for them to accept your answer either way. No, that doesn't work. How about it's not all men, but the ones who are won't touch you if you clearly say no? I don't know. That one doesn't seem to have the right ring to it. Let's try this one. It's not all men, but the ones who are should make you look on the bright side, because there isn't a single man on this earth who's willing to flirt with you anymore. And that's gonna do it for today's video, gentlemen and gents. And as always, if you find that my particular brand of comedy is bringing you to the brink of laughter, then why don't you scroll on down and click that like and subscribe button, ring the notification bell, leave a couple of comments, share this video, and let's give the good old-fashioned middle finger to the YouTube algorithm. And never forget, no matter how hard life gets, there is always club soda and Steven Seagal movie reviews. I cannot stress that enough, as I thank you for checking out the new video, and until next time, peace out, homies.